Yo, what is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, we are checking out a recommendation. I don't know if I said that correctly. A recommendation. This was a recommendation and we're gonna jump into it. This is in fact the perfect race by Elly production. So let's jump straight into the video. No waffling. 500th video. Yes, sir. All right. What you got for us?
Is there such a thing as the perfect race?
Of course.
Okay, no, not that kind of race.
Whoa, hold up, wait a minute. I was not expecting that. What? The most famous man in the world just popped up like, yep, there is a perfect race. We're not talking about that kind of race, okay? We're talking about 4 wheels, big engine, exhaust, smoke, petrol burning, all of that. Not that. Oof, I said burning. I shouldn't have said that either. Anyway, let's get on with the video.
This kind. Auto racing. Is it possible to run a perfect race from start to finish? Lead every single lap and come out on top? Well, of course, the answer is yes. It happens all the time in Formula 1, MotoGP, IndyCar, but
what about NASCAR?
It's a little harder to come by. Sure, back in the day, people were winning races by multiple laps, but in the modern era, the last 53 years, a driver has led every lap in a race just thrice. Twice was Cale Yarborough in 73 and 78, and once was Jeff Burton in a 2000 race at New Hampshire, where NASCAR had the brilliant idea of fitting the cars with restrictor plates. Those metal brackets meant to limit horsepower at gargantuan superspeedways. Yeah, they decided to use those on a flat 1-mile oval, and it was a
2-pack of ass!
Look, I get why they did it. Their hearts were in the right place, but their minds, not so much. But nevertheless, history was made. It was the last time someone led every single lap flag to flag in a NASCAR Cup Series race.
Wow,
and with the sheer amount of parody and strategy and completely unnecessary bullshit we see every weekend nowadays, it'd be borderline impossible for anyone ever to do it again. So would I say that anybody in NASCAR today has driven a perfect race? No.
Anyone remember somebody, anyone here watch DDE when they put a Lamborghini on the wall and did the same thing and then the car burst into flame? This is absolutely incredible. I don't understand how NASCAR people like to destroy the vehicle so much. I don't get it. Is it like 5 pounds to, not pounds in weight, $5? Let's use dollars in this situation. It doesn't only cost $5 to build because they're always finding ways to crash it. Like at the end, they'll smash into people or smash into, they keep smashing these cars. Like this one definitely is going to cause some damage. Who's going to pay for it? Anyway, yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. Just kidding. Yes, while it is exceptionally rare for a NASCAR driver to pitch a perfect game, so to speak, I might have just found the next best thing.
All right, hit me up with it, bro.
On the database driveraverages.com, we can find just about every statistic about any race you could ever want. The driver's name, where they started, where they finished, laps led, laps completed, what they had for breakfast that day. Okay, maybe not that one.
Okay, so that's
way over on the right-hand side, since 2005, every driver in every race has been given a rating, a number determined by many, many factors: finishing position, laps led, fastest laps, average running position, average speed. It is an extremely complex algorithm. So complex that I went cross-eyed trying to make heads or tails of it. And most importantly, it's not perfect. So you're telling me you can lead every lap except for the last and still wind up with the same amount of bonus points as the guy who finished 15th?
Crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Crazy.
At the very least, you would think that the high score would be a nice even 100, but no. The highest possible rating a driver can achieve is a 150, and across 20 years of competition, this rating has been achieved 30 times. These, for all intents and purposes, are the Cup Series equivalent to the perfect race. And I want to talk about it, because within this sample of 30 different races are some of the most dominant performances of the modern day. They might not have been much fun to watch in the moment, but especially in an age of ceaseless parody and randomness, they're important to appreciate. It's also important to note that if this rating was implemented before 05, we would no doubt see guys like Petty, Yarborough, Earnhardt, and Gordon make the list. But to do that, we'd have to apply the algorithm to about 2,000 races dating back to the 1940s, and I don't want to do that. So let's get into it.
Get ChatGPT to do it. That's what
Now,
people
the
do
first
these
thing I
days.
noticed when looking at this list is that some names pop up quite a bit. Of course, there's guys like Martin Truex and Jimmy Johnson who had a habit of winning races in about the most boring ways possible, but also Kurt Busch, who during this time had a lot going on. Just a couple months after winning the championship in '04, he went back to victory lane in Phoenix by leading over 70% of the race. Then, just a couple months after that, he was about as perfect in Pocono, and
Wow,
although it
that's
isn't
a
on the
lot.
list, he also dominated at
131
Richmond.
laps.
But in his return to Phoenix in the fall, he was busted for reckless driving and suspicion of DUI. Needless to say, he would not be racing that weekend.
I have a theory about this. When professional driver does some funky stuff outside of the race in public, they should just let them go because they are the people that know how to drive the most. So even when he's drunk, he's probably still the best driver. Obviously, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. But it was just funny to me because they stopped Lewis Hamilton one time for doing burnouts. I'm like, bruv, he's capable, you know?
And a year after bringing them a championship, he had completely cut ties with his team, Roush Racing. Thankfully, he already had another deal lined up with Team Penske, taking over for Rusty Wallace in the famed Miller Lite No. 2. And while he couldn't quite find the same success in the Blue Deuce, he did put together 2 more perfect races, Pocono again in '07 and Atlanta in '09. Kurt may have been a madman behind the wheel, and still is, but boy could he wheel it better than most. Though maybe not so well as his future teammate, who edges him out with 5 perfect runs, 3 of which came at Phoenix. And that, of course, is the Cactus King, Kevin Harvick. In 2006, 2014, and 2015, he wouldn't let the Arizona sun shine on anybody else. And
wait, look at the state of this car, bruv. Yeah, they must be cheap. This is what I gotta say. The shell must be nothing because look how destroyed that is. Must have grinded on the wall a couple of times or something.
2014 had some special significance. By winning that race, he punched his ticket to the following week's championship, which he won. So
Nice.
just as much as you could say this was his title-winning car, you could say the same about this one. Finally breaking away from the alcohol-sponsored cars, he posted another shutout in 2018 at Las Vegas as the meat in a 3 consecutive win sandwich, and another in a reduced horsepower wreckfest at Indianapolis a year later. Only time will tell if his reign will last, but for now, the keeper of the most perfect races in the NASCAR Cup Series is Happy Harv.
Right.
There are also names that didn't come up nearly as much as I thought they would. Tony Stewart, who won 2 championships in this time, only had 1 perfect showing, the 2005 race at Watkins Glen. Same for his teammate Denny Hamlin. Despite being the first driver on this list whose entire career has had driver ratings, he's only notched 1 perfect score, although it was a meaningful one. In the 2008 Richmond race, at his home track no less, Denny was en route to completing one of the greatest drives in NASCAR history, leading a staggering 381 laps of 400. This has to be the perfect one, right? No. With 20 laps to go, his right front tire let go, and he was ganged up on by Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch. Then he brought out the caution, was forced to pit, and on top of all that, got busted for speeding, forcing him to settle for a dismal 24th place finish.
Jeez,
Then Kyle tried
horrible
to kill Dale, but we're getting off track. It was a total heartbreaker for Hamlin, which made it all the more sweet when he returned to Richmond the following year, put down a not quite as but still pretty damn good performance, and this time got the job done. But wait, sorry Hamlin fans, we gotta go back to that other race just one more time, because the top 2 finishers from that fateful night also made the list, to 2 completely different reactions. Kyle Busch has just 2 perfect races, and while they were both lights out, it's a little surprising since he's won 63 races in total, but then again, he does have a flair for the dramatic. The other one is Clint Bowyer, who I'm surprised is even here, partly because he's Clint Bowyer, but also because his perfect run is even here. Partly because he's Clint Bowyer, but also because his perfect run came in his very first win at New Hampshire, where he led 74% of the laps in one of the greatest cars ever, the Jack Daniels number 07 in '07. Something about those booze cruisers, man. Some other examples include Carl Edwards, who beat Jimmy Johnson in Homestead, but at the same time had to watch him take his record-extending 5th title in a row. Then there was Brad Keselowski, who had to watch him. Examples include Carl Edwards, who beat Jimmy Johnson in Homestead, but at the same time had to watch him take his record-extending 5th title in a row. Then there was Brad Keselowski, who carried on the Blue Deuce's dominance with ass kickings at Kentucky and Martinsville. Move a little closer to the present, we'll find a whole lot of Larson, boasting perfect races at Texas in 2021, the meet in another 3 consecutive win sandwich. Homestead in 2022, which he almost lost, thank God Truex lost sight of his pit box, and the Roval in 2024, before Shane Van Gisbergen started terrorizing the road courses, to which I have to say, I'm a little shocked that none of his 5 wins from last year made the list, but the algorithm says he wasn't perfect, so I guess he wasn't.
Damn.
Lastly, we have Chase
Unlucky.
Elliott in the 2025 Clash, which is an exhibition race, so I'm not even sure if that counts. And finally, Chase Briscoe in the 2025 Southern 500. This was a points-paying event, and a big one. The first race of his first playoffs with Joe Gibbs Racing. And in what was just his 4th career victory and 2nd consecutive in this race, he led more laps than anybody has at Darlington in the last 40 years. It's all subjective, I know, but that right there sounds pretty damn perfect to me. By now, those of you who have been following NASCAR long enough are gritting your teeth and curling your toes because I have selectively omitted one major example.
Ooh.
But as they say,
I
you should
didn't
save
know.
the best for last.
Martin Truex.
May 29th, 2016, the Coca-Cola 600, the longest race in all of NASCAR. To stay dialed in and focused throughout the entirety of this 4.5-hour gauntlet is one thing, but to do all that whilst keeping the competition at arm's length, that is something else, and Martin Truex Jr. did exactly that. In this race, he led, are you ready for this? 392 laps out of 400. He led 98% of the race. Through 600 miles of racing, he was only passed on the racetrack once.
That
and the
is
very next lap, he was
ridiculous.
back out front. In total, he led for 588 miles, which isn't just the most miles led that season, or that decade,
ever.
or even in this era. It is the most miles led by any driver in any NASCAR race
Jesus,
ever. A record
Lord
that
of
dated
mercy.
back to 1967, when, as I said earlier, it wasn't
335
uncommon for
only.
people to win by multiple laps, and almost 50 years later, Truex crushed it. It was the biggest ass whooping we have ever seen. But objectively, definitively, was it indisputably a perfect race? No, but I highly doubt those extra 8 laps keep Martin up at night. And besides, according to all other metrics, the stats, the rating, the good old human eye,
He's just number
this
one
is
everywhere.
as close to the perfect race
Damn,
as
son.
we may ever see. And that's not even to mention the fact that this was
That's
just
a
his
big-ass
4th win
bottle of
ever,
Coke, by the
and that
way.
it was just the 3rd for his team, and that the team was the only one not based around the racetrack, and the only team in NASCAR history based west of the Mississippi, and you know what? That sounds like a story for another day. Until then, thanks for watching.
Nah, this guy is brilliant. I love Elly Productions, man. Jeez, nah, that was a great video. Yeah, the perfect race does not exist anymore, but come to Formula One, you're gonna see the perfect races, man. Perfect weekend, perfect, what they call it, practice, perfect, goddamn qualifying, perfect race, top speed, high speed, biggest, all of that is in Formula One. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, guys. Also, really appreciate your support, all the subs, all the membership and everything that you guys are doing. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Goodbye. Peace.